Tucked away in the Coulee region lies a little piece of Norway.
Today, we're taking in a little history and a lot of fun as we visit this historic hamlet known as Norskedalen.
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
This is an anthem for those who look for more and never say they've seen it all. Windows down, let's take a ride. The good land's great tonight.
Friluftsliv, loosely translated in the Norwegian language, means open-air life, and that certainly sums up Norwegian culture.
That's right, and Norskedalen loosely translates to Norwegian Valley, which is exactly what we're exploring today.
So join us for the sights and sounds of this hidden gem in the heart of the Coulee region.
All right, I'm ready to explore this place. Are you ready to explore this place?
I'm ready to explore
Let's
this
do
place.
it.
Norskedalen is located 15 miles southeast of La Crosse. This well-kept nature preserve and historic open-air museum allows visitors to take a step back in time and experience the lifestyle of Norwegian immigrants in the mid-19th century. As a student of history, I started with a guided tour to learn about the migration story of the area's Norwegian immigrants.
So this is our permanent exhibit. It kind of tells the story of why Norwegians left Norway, starting in the mid-19th century, and why they came to America, specifically why they came to southwest Wisconsin. So we kind of start here with that decision to leave home and to leave Norway, and what that entailed, the unknowns of leaving and making this long and sometimes arduous journey.
Because the Coulee region mimicked the landscape of their homeland, it's easy to see why Norwegians settled here.
I think ethnic histories are particularly interesting because in one sense it gives us a sense of pride of what our ancestors have accomplished, but even for those that are outside that ethnicity, it's always a chance to see how we're all very similar in terms of how we came to this country and how we made a life here.
After the tour, I headed for the gift shop to check out a few Norwegian goodies. Meanwhile, Mariah paid a visit to historic Bekkum Farmstead.
So this is the Bekkum Farmstead?
Yes.
Okay, who were the Bekkums?
So the Bekkums were actually Owen and Dorothy Bekkum paid for these buildings we moved here. They were some of our volunteers that were really involved in that, coordinating that.
Okay.
So each of these buildings have their own unique history, but here we interpret it as one homestead, the Bekkum Farmstead, in about an 1890 Norwegian American farm.
Gotcha.
Set in a tun, or horseshoe, the homestead is an example of a typical Norwegian farm in the late 19th century.
The shape of this farm is kind of in a U shape, and that's so that buildings that house animals were closer to water, to their water source. It also meant you didn't have too far to walk to get to any one building. And if a fire broke out, it was unlikely that the wind was going to change direction so many times that it would blow the fire across your whole farm. So there were a lot of practical reasons that warranted that shape.
Yeah.
Walking through the farmstead is a history lesson of its own kind and a valuable reminder of modern progress.
So this is our summer kitchen. This building was used as a kind of a way to beat the heat in the summertime. All the cooking and laundry and anything that was going to really heat up your house and kitchen was moved into this building.
And so these are all different tools, most of which I do not recognize, that they use to make food. Okay. So what are some of the tools that we're looking at here, some of the pieces?
Yeah. Well, we've kind of got two laundry setups in here. So this is an earlier one that I think most of us will recognize. And then over in the corner is actually a slightly more modern washing machine.
And then what do we have here?
So over on this table, we have a yoke, which was used to carry water, because you need a lot of water for all of your cooking and laundry, and also your washing and drinking needs. And then here we have an ice cream maker. So I have to say all the essentials happen in this building.
For sure, essentials for sure. This is where you would have found me, at the ice cream maker. That I would have done. Norskedalen is essentially an open-air museum. The point of Norskedalen is to really introduce kids and their parents and their grandparents to what life was like for a Norwegian American family who came to Wisconsin, who immigrated here and raised their family on a property just like this.
Throughout the school year, Norskedalen opens the grounds to area schools to participate in a class project called Letters from Anne, where students read letters from an immigrant child to her family back in Norway.
Dear cousin, I wish in this evening hour as I write you that you are in good health. It was a mild winter here in Wisconsin.
Not too cold. Our cows were able to be outside, grazing on their own pasture almost all the time up until Christmas.
And then spend the day at Norskedalen learning about Norwegian culture and history. Kids learn how to churn butter from cream, how the blacksmith made tools, and how to make quilt patterns to stay warm during the harsh winter. During the summer, Norskedalen has many programs to keep kids entertained. Parents can sign kids up for an adventure called Outdoors with Olivia.
Oh, what's this? It really introduces kids to the outdoors, the wilderness, somewhere very natural. We have woods, we have prairies, we have ponds, we have creeks, places for kids to really explore.
Oh, look at what he's doing.
I know, see, he wants to escape. Be careful.
Oh, and look, you've also got a snail. I bet you didn't even see that.
No, look at Christina.
Christina found a snail.
Kids can search for invertebrates in the creek, get their hands dirty, and hike through the prairie identifying the things that grow and run wild.
Ooh, let's see. Okay, you found more slime for me. And some sand. More slime and sand.
I've been seeing more and more people coming out here just to do hiking, checking for butterflies, playing in the stream. People are realizing that Norskedalen isn't just a heritage site, but it's a nature site as well. Thank you guys for visiting me.
No doubt there are many things for children to explore, but kids don't get to have all the fun. Twilight tours give older visitors a chance to explore what daily life was like for early 1800 settlers, as told by characters of the time period.
Mr. Leopold, here we are.
Good evening, farmers. I decided that no matter what the cause, soil erosion must be recognized, addressed, and reversed. There's a revolution in conservation going on right now, right in this little valley.
Strolling the well-manicured grounds, visitors can learn about how settlers made a living, as well as how some of the buildings made their way to Norskedalen. Inga, we're in the middle of a beautiful place down here in Norskedalen, but we're in front of a corn crib right now.
Well, the corn crib that we have here is of a Norwegian immigrant design, smaller at the bottom and larger shaping into the top. They also had it arranged so that it was up off the ground so that small critters couldn't get in there.
What is a corn crib?
They keep the corn, the maize, when they harvest it in the fall, and then as they use it throughout the year, they will grind it up for the chickens or the cows.
So this is strictly for storing corn?
Strictly for corn on the cob.
And you guys navigated the valley and everything to get it here to Norskedalen.
Rather than maybe get some kind of a moving permit to move this building, they thought if they brought it through the Westby Sutton Amai parade, that they could just slip it on down here and no problem.
So in a sense, you snuck this through town by entering it as a parade float.
That's right.
My understanding is you participated in that parade.
I did, yeah. Actually, the Westby Sons of Norway sponsored us as an entry into the parade. And kind of at the last minute, they had me hop onto the back of the wagon and wave to everybody all through the parade.
Well, if there's one thing you can say about Norwegians, it's that they have incredible ingenuity, especially when it comes to buildings. And if you really want to enjoy the full experience of Norskedalen, you can actually stay in a renovated cabin, coincidentally called Paulsen cabin. Equipped with modern amenities and accommodations to sleep 4 to 6 people, this tiny little cabin is rustic and cozy. And it's got a great name, in my humble opinion.
Do you hear that? That's what you get when you come to Norskedalen. It's so quiet and serene, and there's a few people wandering around the property, but for the most part, you kind of feel at peace, and you really take in the serenity and the quiet calm of a place like this that is quite literally in the middle of nowhere.
One can't help but notice the pristine beauty here at Norskedalen. Spanning 400 acres with 9 miles of trails for hiking, this gorgeous setting is just waiting to be explored. Head to the Arboretum and check out the one-of-a-kind statue called Zero G II, created by nationally known sculptor Paul T. Granlund. and dedicated to Helga Gundersen by her son, Norskedalen founder, Dr. Elf Gundersen.
My grandfather was a very big fan of Aldo Leopold, and he was a naturalist. And my grandfather wanted to make a place of beauty, and that's what he thought this of as a place of beauty, and then he did it in honor of his mother.
Enjoy the peaceful elegance of the Arboretum and take in the many bubbling brooks and streams that meander throughout the property. Not only can you hike and commune with nature here at Norskedalen, you can also enjoy some amazing music and a fantastic meal. All right, you know my rule, dessert first. That's good. From mid-June through August, you can enjoy music in the valley and a threshing bee dinner. Lori, why is it called the threshing bee dinner?
Okay, well, there's a little story with that. It used to be that the farmers, each one had a specific piece of equipment, and so when it was time for harvest, they'd all come together and they'd help each other out with the harvest. And so as the entire community of farmers went from farm to farm, they had to have dinner. So we call it the threshing bee. It rounds out the end of our Music in the Valley series, and it becomes part of our education for the younger families.
What a beautiful scene and environment. I mean, like you said, you have little kids running around out near the creek. You've got couples dancing.
Every Wednesday, visitors can sit back, relax, and enjoy a wonderful evening of music and food. Meanwhile, Eric is checking out a historic chapel on the other side of the property.
So Iris, this is a beautiful place. We're in the Benrud Little White Chapel. Take me through the history.
Well, the Benrud family immigrated from near Eidsvoll, Norway. They brought with them a strong Norwegian evangelical Lutheran religious faith. And this particular church was built in Sparta in 1886. The steeple was struck by lightning in 1939. At that time, the congregation decided they needed a larger church and sold this building.
The church passed through a few different owners before being donated to Norskedalen. So what's the story with the altar here?
The frugal people had a packing trunk that they used as an altar. This packing trunk was brought to the United States by Peter and Sophie Benrud. At that time, their name was Paulsen, but like many immigrant families, they changed their name. And this is marked P. Paulsen, Mount Pisgah, Monroe County, Wisconsin, Sparta, North America.
With Wisconsin and America, with K's instead of C's, a big
Correct.
Norwegian tradition I've learned. The chapel can be rented for weddings and special events and is as charming as it looks. Displays of old hymnals and Bibles line the back of the church, adding to the historic nature of the building. Another display of history can be found in the Visitor Center, where traditional seating, called kubastols, line the hallway, again showing the true resourcefulness of the Norwegian people.
The rural Norwegians would just go out in the woods and get a log, hollow it out, set a seat in it, and have chairs for free. We didn't have to go to the store to buy any. They were not this ornate, they were very plain. But when you see a hollowed out log intricately carved like these, it is a Norwegian art form.
They're amazing to look at and surprisingly comfortable to sit in. See them yourself when you visit.
When visiting Norskedalen, there are actually 2 sites available to visitors. Located about 5 miles from the main property west of Coulee Valley, Thrun is a 43-acre open-air museum.
Thrun is a property that was gifted to us by the Thrun family, and Ruth, and then her brother Lloyd and his wife Agnes. And it is really the story of a family that was one of the original settlers to the area, and their original cabin that was built by Nils Skumsrud is still on the property.
Each year in early July, the property is open to the public to tour the museum and check out local artisans. The art fair at Thrun is a chance for people to immerse themselves in Norwegian history and art.
There's no commercial items here. We have wood turners, we have wood carvers, we have maple syrup, we have alpaca yarn. We have homemade fudge. We have a Norwegian baker. Oh my goodness. We have just as many different types of art as we could find.
Visitors can walk through the museum, peek into the historic buildings, and enjoy the outdoors.
The art fair is a way for people to come and experience what is here, the agricultural setting of the early 1900s, the buildings, the homes, to look at the artwork that is so much a part of Norwegian heritage and culture, and just to spend a beautiful day with families at a place that isn't generally open to the public.
Even in the fall, as Mother Nature slows down to rest, other things at Norskedalen come alive.
Emulating Norwegian artist Edvard Munch's The Scream, the staff members at Norskedalen create a ghoulish atmosphere in October. On the Thursday before Halloween, visitors can bring their children to Norskedalen for Ghoulies and the Coulees, trick-or-treating through the Bekkum Farmstead. Children take a lighted pumpkin walk with a tour guide, and then gather treats at all the buildings in the homestead. On Friday, it's a completely different experience for the adults. You know, no matter what time of year it is, there's always something fun to do at Norskedalen. Even during Halloween, when the trails are lit with candles and they sparkle with mischief.
That's partially true. I heard these trails come alive with ghosts and goblins.
Oh, come on.
What was that?
Don't worry, it's just the local wildlife. In fact, they have a fox here they affectionately call Rusty.
That's not Rusty!
Tour guides lead thrill seekers down a trail as ghosts and ghouls prepare to spook the brave souls passing through. But if you're looking for something a little more serene and equally as fun, visit Norskedalen in December for an old-fashioned Christmas. See a blacksmith make Christmas ornaments in his shop. Tour the homestead in a horse-drawn wagon. Get your favorite Norwegian baked goods at the bake sale, and who knows, you may even get a glimpse of Santa. Round out the day and renew your Christmas spirit by singing carols with a bell choir in the chapel. No matter the season, the unrelenting beauty and rich history of Norskedalen makes this one experience you won't forget and creates a little slice of Norway right here in Wisconsin.
Hey guys, wait up.
What was that?
Sorry.
Yeah, you're all in your nice Norwegian
bunad.
I'm in my Discover Wisconsin t-shirt.
Well,
available on discoverwisconsin.com. This can't scare me. I got my tax assessment bill the other day.